This is day 3 of Selling Through Stories module 3. And what I got was really powerful from this. I was actually also getting ideas as I was going through this process, module 3 training. And what I got was, well, first of all, which just emphasizing the power of stories. Like, that's key. And when we have really great stories to share, it's so much easier to convert, to make sales. It's like we don't even have to sell. The stories do it themselves. And it's like, not, we can't get around it. We gotta have stories to share with our potential clients or customers or audience, like real stories. And if we don't have stories and we just think, what would people want to hear? What kind of stories can they relate to? And what really came to me as I was going through this process, first of all, like, if we have a service, well, say a product, right? The value of the product can be a certain amount that we may perceive it to be. But if there's a story behind that product that we know about, or we just came to read about or learn, a really touching story behind that product, the value can like increase triple the times, or just 100%, or just like increase the value that would be willing to pay more than what we were willing to pay before we knew the story. That's how stories are powerful. And it's the structure that Scott helped me create, my daily structure between now and my birthday, February 11th, like committing an hour every day to working on stories, putting together, or just, stories I have, or my story written in a certain way. And so that structure is really going to work because it has me really commit to it may not be urgent, but it's important. And it's something I've been putting off for the longest time. And it's not that I don't have stories, I have many stories now, and I'm still working towards getting more and more. The more stories we have, the better. And what came to me is like just how, the module framed of how, like, just how the story should be told in a certain way. And it just came to me that I have a story to share about the intervention Scott did with my family back, a few months ago or 6 months ago, whatever it was. And if I follow this framework on how I share that story, it's going to be very useful and very valuable and just focused what the people want to hear and need to hear. As long as they don't need to hear all the nitty gritty details, but just they need to really get moved and touched. And how they get touched, if they can relate to the character in the story, they can relate to the more, like, we share, what it was like, the feelings, because people can really relate to emotions and feelings, getting that out. And what I really liked in this module, when it covered, like, if this story has a happy ending, then go back to, like, really having the audience understand, even just saying what would have happened, what would have been the most probable outcome if I hadn't taken action on this. Like, have them think in those terms. And so it was thinking about my own story. What would have been the outcome? What would have happened if I had not taken action? And it also was really profound because, like, there's so many ways in sharing my story with, the battle that I went through with this charity, and I told it in like different, like, there was a version out there. But this, like, following this framework had me really, like, get this, I don't know if it was like this thought, this idea that if I just take that story and share it in the way that the module is training us to share it in, like, make it, like, it's shorter and, like, it can be used for something. Like, for example, I don't remember all the key points. I have to go back to it. But just like, I was just having, like, okay, what would have happened if I hadn't taken action on this? Well, I would have been fired, left destitute, without a job, feeling more hopeless, and just having nothing to fall back on. That's what would have happened. And if I share that part of the story, just that, and what led to that, I mean, um, you know, who was my guide and like that, those are all the key components of the story. It could be just like that, could just be told and be so powerful in terms of selling through stories. So that was very useful to really get trained on. Thank you.